This NIL thing going on with college football is really interesting. We had some college football games last night. Ohio State got a big win last night. UAB got their win on Wednesday nights. Alabama, of course, got the big Miami game going on. Auburn taking on, I think it's Toledo or Akron this weekend. Sorry, they're favored by 38. I haven't kept in touch with that. But they had a list of some of the biggest profit makers under the brand new NIL rules.
It's so funny because it's already
in college football. It is, and it's funny because some of these kids haven't even taken a snap in their lives. Derek King with Miami, who's obviously going to be playing Alabama this weekend, now has a deal with trading card company Panini, College Hunks Hauling Junk.
What?
College Hunks Hauling Junk. That's a new company. It's a moving company.
Oh.
Murphy Auto Group, The Wharf, and BioSteel Sports Nutrition.
Did they say how much he's making?
He's going to make 7 figures based on his current deals.
That's crazy.
He's going to make $1 million, at least $1 million this year. Yeah, he is the poster boy, they're saying, of the NIL. We mentioned Bryce Young at Alabama. He's got a deal with Cash App along with trading card memorabilia companies Leaf, Wildcard, and Onyx.
It's interesting. You know, it's kind of interesting. The companies, I mean, it makes sense. The market, these are companies that fit, that very much fit. Who?
Not all of them do.
Not all of them, but
yeah, and that's why I wanted to read.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Some of them are kind of like interesting. It's so weird though too. I was on the Jay Barker Radio Network on Tuesday. I'm on a show every week, and we were talking about this. And I mean, we went from a situation where Antonio Langham signs a napkin with an agent, and the entire school goes on probation for 15 years. It's like, and now you have to have an agent to do these things. So, I mean, we have just absolutely, this reminds me a little bit of marijuana, but on a broader appeal. It's like if the entire country just said, marijuana is free, go get after it. Just knock yourself out because, I mean, all the rules are just off the table now.
And the thing is, you keep hearing, you heard this before. You heard this before this thing went into effect. Mm-hmm. And I heard it over and over. This is only going to pertain to a very small number of athletes.
Yeah.
It's not going to pertain to.
And it is. It is.
Here's the thing. Sure, at the $1 million deal. But think about this. Start coming down from the $1 million deal.
Oh, there's a lot of $50 handshakes.
Well, or
wear my hat at your post-game interview. Do whatever.
That's low, but let's talk $50,000 to $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: it's not just this is when we talk about it's not the lead singer, but it's the drummer. Mm-hmm. Okay, you don't have to be. I mean, you don't have to be the number one superstar on the team.
No.
To get the deal, because what plays into it? You're on the team. You need to be probably at some level of recognition, mm-hmm. Okay? But you don't need to be the number one player. I don't know football, but you don't need to be the starting guard. You don't have to be. But if you have the whole package, because this is about marketing. So, do you look good? Are you presentable in front of the camera or whatever it is?
Can you do my commercials? Yep.
I mean, that actually now starts playing into it more. So if you think about it, you can have a kid who's maybe second string. They get some playing time, but they're fabulous on camera. They're articulate. They're a scholar. They got great grades. And there's going to be companies that are like, we want that kid. Yep. And that's how to me, this whole thing about it's only going to affect a small number, I think they are very, very wrong. I think they're wrong. A small number may only make $1 million, but as a college
What's wrong? The companies that are hiring them or the kids?
No. Wrong that this idea that it's only going to affect a very tiny number of athletes. Listen,
in the broad scheme of things, it will affect only a small number of players.
If you are
5 or 6 out of 120 guys on a football team will get deals.
That's a football team. What if you're a tennis player? You play tennis player.
Probably even smaller because you have to look at what kind of response you're going to get out of spending that type of money with a tennis player.
No, but I'm not talking. That's what I'm saying. You don't spend $1 million.
Yeah.
If you're a college kid, if you're a college student, and you got your scholarship, and that's not enough money, so you got to work an extra job.
Yeah.
But instead, someone hands you. I keep getting lower and lower. $25,000 for the year.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of money.
Sure it is.
That's what I'm saying is that this thing is going to $1 million tiny, $500,000 tiny. But as you start moving down, you're still talking about significant money for a college kid as compared to getting a summer job.
And that's why a kid like Bo Nix, who's now in his third year at Auburn, good-looking kid. I mean, he's about as good-looking as it gets. He's got the face. He's got the acumen. He looks like the kind of guy that could sell cars.
Yep.
He's going to make him. Even if his numbers aren't good, and good for them. I mean, that's the rules. Good for them if they can knock it out, as long as it doesn't take away from your playing time and your availability to coach and do whatever you got to do.
There's two things that I want to see in this: is the degree to which it distracts from their playing ability. Because everyone's like, well, the coaches won't tolerate. That's fine. Of course, the coach is not going to tolerate. I want to see how much it impacts. If it does, I'm saying this with a very open mind. If it does, how much does the distraction, because it's a distraction, impact your ability to play at the highest level?
Yep.
Because at this level, whether you're first string, second string, starter or not, there's very few kids who are playing at this level. So I want to see how much that distraction is. The second thing is from sports. The second thing is I want to see how it impacts grades.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, this is something.
No, we don't have to worry about grades when you're in athletics. You don't.
But not
everyone's in PE.
No.
Everyone's doing sports medicine. I know.
But so think about this though. Think about this, and if as an adult who doesn't play, it's very easy for all of us to do this. You close your eyes and you say, okay, if I was 20 or 18, 19, it's 20, and I was really busy with school, I was really busy with sports. I mean, sports it takes over everything. Then I had this side gig where the side gig is, I maybe just have to post stuff online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe shoot a commercial, and it's cha-ching and bring in some money, $5, $10. Think about the draw. I don't care if you think you're going to the NFL or the NBA. Just think about it's an immediate gratification thing. Hey, the other night I put my books away just for a little bit.
It's a job, is what it is.
Well, yeah, but
and going in as a 5-star, 4-star recruit, and as a freshman, I'm hiring a social media digital marketing company. If I'm a 4 or 5-star guy and I'm going to be a starter for the next 3 or 4 years before I go to the National Football League, or if I don't, I could probably bank a few $1 million in the 3 years I'm playing for Alabama or Auburn.
Right.
I'm getting after it because a lot of these guys, Nike now has an entire administrative section where they've sat down and said, okay, I want you guys to give me a list of the top 25 college football players that you think could help the Nike brand. Mm-hmm. We're going to start with their social media. How many followers do they have?
Yep.
Because if they've got 100,000 followers or 50,000 followers or 10,000 followers, we're going to help them build up their following, and in turn, they're going to be throwing out Nike products or their brand new shoes. I mean, it's like it snowballs. Derek Stingley Jr. At LSU, potential top pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, is now dealing with Raising Cane's Walk-Ons, which is a restaurant, we have one in town, and Jimmy Granger's Ford, which is a car dealership down in Baton Rouge. Kayvon Thibodeau of Oregon is now working with United Airlines to promote direct flights from Eugene, Oregon to cities where the Ducks have road games. He's also working with Phil Knight from Nike, Tinker Hatfield, and eBay for online artwork.
Does it say like the amount?
No.
Okay.
These are the biggest guys. These are the ones that are making the most money. DJ Ukulele from Clemson, the sophomore, just had 2 career starts. Just signed marketing deals with Dr. Pepper and Bojangles restaurants.
Jeez.
He's going to be featured in the national Dr. Pepper commercial as part of his Fansville college football marketing campaign. We mentioned Bryce Young, his deal. So, I mean, good for these kids. I know, we had Mark Ingerman on the show earlier. You can podcast his interview wherever you get your podcast on Audio Boom. And you could tell he was kind of like, yeah. And I don't know how many UAB players, but I'm sure there's a lot of money. He mentioned that they raised $40 million to open Protective Stadium. There are a lot of people here in Birmingham that got a lot of money that want to see these kids. And where I think it gets a little sticky is when you say, I want this kid to go to this school and I will give you a $50,000 deal if you sign a letter of, and then the coach is kind of like, well, hold on. This ain't a kid I need on my football team right now. That's where it starts getting a little sticky. I mean, I see it all the time. I was down at an Alabama game, this is 5 or 6 years ago, and there was a booster there who was an older booster that had to walk up like 20 steps in order to get into the victory, whatever it is, there at the stadium, and just was pitching a fit. Based on the money I gave this university last week, why the hell isn't there an elevator? I can't believe they don't have a flipping elevator. They know how old I am. I'm 92 years old, and I gave them and he's sitting there going off. I gave them $5 million, and they can't build me a damn elevator. And I'm thinking, and I'm going, okay. And we see that with boosters a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who have says.
Well, and Mark Ingram said it. I mean, and I'm sure this is happening across universities. Mark Ingram said that we got a whole new department in the athletic department. We got an, for lack of a better word, we got an NIL compliance department, and he said it. We're training our kids, and this is the one thing I do like this.
Yep.
Instead of sort of being pissed off, denial, he said we're bringing in people to train them. We're bringing in people to help them understand the compliance. We're bringing in people to educate them about how to go about doing this. So that he's basically saying, we can't really fight it, so we're going to make sure that our kids are doing this in a good way that's beneficial.
And I hope that these kids are smart enough to hire a reputable agent who will handle their stuff for them. There's going to be agencies that aren't reputable. That's the other thing. Probably one of the biggest growing fields of anything right now are agencies. Brothers of players. Hey, I'm starting my own agency. I'll be your agency. I'll give you a cut. They're not going to have to give you 17%. I'll only take 5%. You take care of it. Okay, great. We'll start our own company.
Because there's no barrier to digital.
That's
the thing. You know, it's not, you're not about getting you on a TV commercial.
No.
It's about placing an ad on an Instagram account.
And you're going to have a lot of kids getting screwed.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have a lot of kids getting screwed, or they're going to have a deal where in the small writing it says, if you don't play X amount of games, we're no longer giving you your money. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of those different deals. And I'd imagine, listen, you brought up a great point about grades, and we laugh about that grade, so that's funny because it's the last thing these kids are probably thinking about at this point.
They shouldn't be, because
when less than 1% of all college players go to play at the next level, you need to have that degree. But it's going to be really interesting because there are so many things coming at kids at that age.
Yes.
If you come in as a 4 or 5 star recruit, first of all, you're one of about 20 at the same position at Alabama, Auburn, or any other Power 5 school. You're getting into a situation where you've got your grades, you've got your class, you got your tutorials, you got to do 20 hours of practice every week, you got your girls.
All of it.
You got your girls taking your time. You got your off-campus light. Now all of a sudden you're dealing with this agency where you're cutting commercials and you're doing. And again, we're talking a small number that are really banking big time.
But yeah, that's what you just said. A small number who are actually making the big time.
Yeah.
But any one of these athletes has the possibility of making it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, to me, that's the psychology of it. They're not saying, what they're not doing is, I'm sorry. This only applies to starters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a college student and you're not at the top, you're saying to yourself, why not? I got an Instagram account.
Yeah.
That's the part that concerns me, is the amount of distraction, and how do you manage it? How do you manage it? I know a lot of college kids who can manage it.
Yep.
But the difference is you're now weighing these are my grades and my degree, which I'm going to need later. Got it. And the students will be like, okay, I understand that, but I want to earn some extra money now. I want to
and remember, when you have these kids go into the National Football League at the age of 21 or 22, and they're getting millions of dollars, a lot of them are broke within a couple of years. Okay. I talked to Bobby Humphrey about that. I've talked to Charles Barkley about that. The money's coming out. You got people reaching and grabbing. I need a loan. Can you help me out? I'm going to give every family member X amount of dollars. Leave me alone. And then they're broke. Just remember, you got to pay taxes on all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And the IRS is going,
yeah,
Bryce Young, 7 figures, huh? Okay, well, let's see what he, so I mean, that's going to be something to play, because young kids and money don't necessarily mix, Mr. Venmo. Yeah.
Super important that you hire Driscoll Gray.